Hello everybody, this is Kurt with the Nicky Kurt Experience, and I'm back playing some Diablo 3 because I finally got my Roland's gloves. So I'm pretty excited to kind of show you the next step in terms of how this build works without the shield denial. I know that kind of sucks that I don't have denial, because that's the main bread and butter of this build. In terms of the extra, just that little bit of extra damage. No, I don't need anything other, but as you can see, I got all Roland stuff. I don't have the bracers either yet, or a Thunder God's Vigor. And as you can see, like most of my stuff that I have on isn't really very good. A lot of it's missing things that I needed to have, but it's all there and it does work. So we can actually use it. It's actually a viable use, or it's a viable build now for T6 rifts and stuff. So I won't get annihilated and stuff, and I can actually clear things pretty fairly easily to hopefully maybe actually get some sort of new parts and anything. That's the last part of news, the denial. I mean, for the major damaged core of the build, not including focus and restraint. But as you can see, with Roland's, with everything intact, the attack speed is what makes this build so powerful, as well as the cooldown to let you have your iron skin up permanently. That's the main way that you play this build. So you walk through. You don't really necessarily, like, when you're using focus and restraint, you might want to worry about it. You might want to worry about it if you're trying to go to a Winter Rift that's really high. But for the most part, I don't really worry about the stacks and trying to maintain them, because it's really hard to maintain a consistent flow of enemies. So it's kind of pointless for me to try to maintain as many stacks as I can, just for that fact. And as you can see, it makes this attack speed being so fast allows you to actually utilize your Wrath Generator as well as your sweeping attack. So that's really good for your focus and restraint, because if you're attacking at that speed where I first saw it, using your generator then your spender would be ridiculously underwhelming. But with it actually having the attack speed be increased too, of course, it makes it a very, very viable, very viable switch between the two. Ooh. And you're dead. I don't really like treasure goblins that much anymore, to be honest, just the normal treasure goblins, because they seem very underwhelming in what you can get out of them, and I think it's a very, very rare occasion for me to ever get a legendary out of them anymore. It's just... Oh, excuse me. It's apparently, obviously, it's obviously been changed, since you have all the other treasure goblins, but it's apparently not a normal treasure goblin's deal anymore to give you anything really worthwhile. It's turned into a point where normal treasure goblins are kind of just like, like, oh, well, I got something, but not what I wanted. So as you can see, with the attack speed being so fast, it makes this build a lot more powerful, but you do have to find a very, very large group of enemies to maintain your wrath while using sweep attack. That's another reason why I think a lot of people use this over a shield bash kind of build. Just due to the fact that maintaining wrath is really hard with shield bash at all. While in this one you can at least maintain wrath if you have a large group of enemies. And so what makes this so nice, I was saying this when I was first starting up the build, is that the clearability of a large pack of enemies is one of the highest I've seen. With the attack speed being this much higher, that's definitely true, like 100% now. The damage that I'm going to probably be able to output once I get the denial shield is probably going to be comparable to what my monk does, or what my monk did before I got any more damage on him. Because actually, the thing is, I forgot to say, in between this episode and the last, I did play a little bit more, and I got a Ramalani's gift. So now my monk actually has two um, two sockets. Jeez, I don't know what it is with my brain. I guess I'm really distracted. Two sockets. So with those two sockets now, he's actually doing a lot more damage, and probably he gets upwards of close to 1 billion per his dashing strike hits. So that's really, really good. That's a really big improvement. Um, the one thing I never noticed, and if anybody has any answers, you can please let me know. I'm not really sure if whenever you're using your attacks, if it says weapon damage. Your main hand obviously is what the weapon damage comes from, but does that include whatever gem you have in your main hand as well, or are gems not included in the calculation for? So say like if it says this does 1,500% weapon damage. So your main weapon is the weapon damage that they use to calculate that with. Your offhand isn't necessarily. But is the gem on your main hand as well included in that calculation of the 1,500% weapon damage? That's something I would like to know. I don't think it would be, but if it is, that'd be cool. But yeah, for the most part though, got a Ramalani's gift. Got my monk up a little bit higher in damage. Did a Greater Rift 40 solo with him. Could easily go even higher than that, but I was kind of really busy that day, so I didn't really want to do too much with it. I just kind of did it just to see if it worked, and it did. Boop, 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 boop. So, right now with this build, I'm actually really enjoying the amount of attack speed that I get out of it. I'm enjoying the amount of power that it already has. You could build this in a very short amount of time. The most that I think it required... Oops, not leaderboards. Profile. I think it only required like 10 hours or so. No, 7 hours exact now. Including right now, 7 hours exact is what it took for me to get all these parts done, including a denial or both focus and restraint. So, I mean, that is, I would say give it a couple more hours because I did use other characters just to get a bunch of blood shards to spend on them too. You can include that in the calculation as well if you'd really want to. But just as a proof of concept, a lot of these builds, if you ever do get bored with the main character you usually play as, it's a very good idea that maybe if you get really bored, build a new character out. That's what I do all the time, and as you can see, it does not take that much effort or time to build them. And it'll keep you on your toes, and it's actually pretty fun to play with a new character all the time. So, I forgot to say too at the beginning of this video. If anybody's wondering, you probably won't see Nick for a long time anymore. We'll see where that goes. So, if you want to know, I can let you guys know. But otherwise, just for now, just letting you know, he's not going to be back for months. And I don't know if he's really even going to continue doing this with me. So, might have to change around the name of stuff and do this solo. Which kind of sucks, but, I'll just say now, if, when you're not told anything by the person you thought you were working with, kind of makes you mad. Alrighty. Oh, and the other thing too is I'm hoping that it's possible. We'll see if it is. I did get the Witcher 3 on pre-order. I know that there's been some controversy with it where, it first sounded like that there'd be all free DLC coming out for it, and now you have to pay $25. So I didn't get a season pass. Screw that. I got it on sale right now from Steam. There was also a secondary controversy where there was a website, I don't remember what the website was, that was selling the game for like $30 or something really ridiculously cheap. And they were looking into it because it seemed kind of scamish. So they asked people to please not buy from them. So I of course, obviously didn't buy from them. I'm not going to buy from a place like that, especially if they're actually getting things illegally. And then last but not least, the very last thing that happened is apparently people are saying that even though there were rumors at first, maybe a while ago, a couple months ago, that they actually downgraded the graphical fidelity of the game. Some of the people on the project were saying no, that it wasn't, and then now a couple days ago it was actually confirmed that there is some graphical downgrading to the game. I wasn't following it too much because I didn't know if I was going to get it at first. So I wasn't really following the path of what people were saying about it, just in case, you know. But then when I finally decided to get it, that was like a day or two ago. I only just heard about all this now, so I'm not really too upset about it because I wasn't really following it religiously. But it sounds like they're turning off some pretty important features like, you know, tessellation and some other stuff, and it's once again that argument between console and PC. And a lot of people are saying that it was dumbed down because of console, because they wanted to get it on consoles as well. So last minute, instead of doing anything, you know, instead of having to delay the game again or anything like that, they didn't want to do that. So they decided to downgrade some features so then all platforms can have the game the exact same way when it comes out. So then when it first comes out, it'll be on every single platform instead of them having to delay like the PC just to make it so that it'll work on all platforms for PC as well, all hardware, I mean. So I understand where they're coming from, and like I said before, I have absolutely no qualms between console, PC, anything. I played PC all throughout my childhood, or not PC, console all throughout my childhood. I didn't get a PC till I was late teens in high school. So I was console for a long time. I switched to PC, and the thing is that I'm not necessarily in a position where I can get a console and a PC anymore. So I had a 360 for a little bit, and decided, you know, I can't keep buying consoles that come out if I want to do one or the other, so I just had to pick one for now. Maybe down the road when I, you know, making more money or something, you know, I can actually do both. But that's what I'm saying is that I'm not one way or the other. I don't pick one or the other. And I don't think any of you guys should either. I think you should all respect each other for the same thing. But for them to do that and anything and deny it until the last couple of days, that is kind of shitty of them. But if anybody has followed the Witcher history and anything like that, the very first game that would come out would be good. You're playing it for the story anyway, and the graphical fidelity, it's still going to be fine. You know, I don't think that there's going to be an issue. And then they always release an enhanced edition that's free to the people that originally bought the original game. The enhanced edition is a graphical upgrade that you can get that keeps up with the times of the game. So that's what they did with The Witcher 2. They have the enhanced, the Assassin of Kings, the enhanced edition. So just keep it on my mind with it. So I cleared that, got the Great Rift Keystone. I'm doing this now just to collect a couple blood shards and then hopefully roll for a shield. And then we'll end that video. But I just wanted to give you guys a good show that, you know, T6, it clears without a denial. It's still a little bit slow, but it still clears an elite pack. If you can get the entire elite pack in one group together and just wail away at them, you can clear them in under 30 seconds. So that passes a T6, passes the T6 rules for my standards, where I'm saying, like, you know, if I'm going to use this, it has to clear elite packs in under 30 seconds for me to farm with this character. So now I'm doing what I said before that I always do, is just go through Greater Rift 1, 11, 21, etc. To get some blood shards. And because everything's such low level and I'm actually doing enough damage, I one-shot everything in T1. So this is fast. Or not T1, in Greater Rift Wave 1, Level 1. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. So it does kind of suck, but like I said, I didn't really follow it when it was first coming out that people were complaining about that. So I really had no qualm with that one way or the other, because I didn't know about it until just yesterday, when I was just reading the news and everything, trying to get a little bit more pumped up for it, you know, just because it was like, I got it now. Gonna pump myself up and everything, so I'm really excited to play it when it first comes out. Read about that, I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. But I'm not really in any worries because, like I was saying, they always release the enhanced edition. So you never know. They want the game to come out. They want you to be able to enjoy it, and then you never know. It might take maybe even 2 weeks for them to just go, okay, so here's the upgraded enhanced version for the PC that allows you to do it. But the one thing that I do really not agree with is the whole idea of paying for DLC. There just seems to be this trend nowadays where the top two major gaming choices, the top two major video game creation choices now are between making a game that's not complete and adding DLC later that you have to pay almost the same amount for a used game. Like a lot of games, it's like you buy a $60 game and you're like, cool, and then all of a sudden you look down and there's a DLC pass that's $30. You're like, that's as much as a used game and anything like that. And so that tells you, okay, well, there's DLC. Maybe it's actually really, really crazy DLC or something. I don't know. Then you're reading into it and you find out that it's literally just something on the side that could have been in the main game to make the main game more fun, but instead they took it out and then make you pay for it. And you're like, okay, that's really shitty. Then there's the second option of where you look at it and you see, okay, this is a game that's for sale, but it's in a alpha state or beta state. And all of us have done this nowadays because, we want to try out these new games that sound fun and we want to support people to make them. But they make it and they say it's going to be really cool and they give you all the features that they want to have and they give you a core concept in Greenlight, Steam Greenlight, and, early alpha and stuff like that. And you play it and you're like, that's cool, but there's absolutely no, actual major features that make you want to play it every day. It's just a concept, that you would typically send to other people in your company for them to test and show a proof of concept so they're getting excited to play it. But then instead they're putting on Steam Greenlight and all this stuff now, and then you buy it and it's not even a complete game. And you watch it being developed for well over a year and really nothing comes of it and you never play it again. Or you do kind of play it here and there or something like that. There are games like DayZ and other ones that are survival games that are also in that, but they're not having an issue with that in terms of they are actually adding upgrades and they do get regular players because it is a really cool concept. But there are other ones that I don't want to say, just because I don't want to be mean, but there are other games that are in early access is what I was looking for. Jeez. There are other games in early access that typically don't have gameplay in it. But the idea was so cool that you do want to try it out. So you do put down some money to support them going like, here, I really trust that you guys are going to make something. And they don't do anything with it. Or in really shady circumstances, literally they stop development and people that spent $30 on a game that's not even halfway done are out of the money because it is in early access. They did technically sign, with the license and agreement that, you could take my money and keep it. So I'm really hoping that, people switch away from that. EA, please. Ubisoft, please. Switch away from that whole marketing strategy of let's make a game, but let's make them pay money for a bunch of DLC, literally that requires that the game requires for it to actually be a fun game. That kind of stuff. It's like, why? Why do you do that to us? Make a game, make it a full game, and then if you have DLC that comes out maybe a year from now that you want a little bit more money for, that's fine. But the sickest thing I've seen is day one DLC. Day one DLC is literally the bane of gaming nowadays. Console and PC alike, because it seems like with console, the major thing that I think a lot of PC players kind of get nasty with is they don't seem to realize that, with a console, sure, consoles are cheaper to buy initially. If you're going to think of buying a PC or a console right away, a console is cheaper in the long, the first, year or so. A PC does last out because the hardware does last through generations of video games a good couple of years, while a console, after a while, they bring out a new one. So it starts evening out after a good couple of years. But the one thing you don't seem to realize is that whenever a console player goes to buy a game, they typically get screwed out of money in terms of how much a game costs nowadays. When you go and look at a console price of games, if you're going to buy it new, you have to pay $60 for that brand new game that's coming out. And if it has DLC, that's day one DLC, and you want to go get that, then there you go. That's full price as well. While Steam, like when I bought The Witcher 3 just a couple days ago, I got it for $51 instead of 60, which isn't that much of a discount, but if you think about it, that's a pretty good discount for day one before the gaming is out yet on pre-order. While a console player, I mean, for the most part, you might be able to find some deals, but for the majority of console players that go out to a GameStop, it's going to be $60 for them. So remember that too. I mean, you can go as a console player and buy used games, so you do get a massive benefit there. But I'm just saying, like, it's really different in terms of, you know, PC people buying games compared to console people buying games, because when a PC player buys a game, you never get a used one because, you know, DRM and all that stuff, you can't really share any games on PC. Not like you used to anyway. So you're not really ever getting a used game, but there's always discounts for a PC player just because of that reason. So I'm just saying, you know, they're kind of getting screwed out of the money too, so I really wish that all of us together would band up to that and just show certain big companies that, sure, we like your games a lot. Like, you know, there are a lot of fanboys for certain genres. But just, if you're going to make DLCs day one and you're going to try to screw people out of money, that I would love for the majority of people buying games to actually show their support with each other all together and just not buy that game day one and let their sales go down in the hole and show them, you know, it's not really a fair practice to make a day one DLC and then show that without that day one DLC installed, the core game is kind of lacking. And especially speaking in a multiplayer game, if you're going to make a DLC and then you're going to update all your servers where nobody plays with the vanilla game without the DLC, why even do that in the first place? Now, in terms of games like this, you know, they came out with Reaper of Souls, but like I said, that's not the same idea because they made a whole massive improvement and added a whole bunch of stuff and asked for some extra money for it. Discounted, of course, if you already have Diablo 3. And it was not day one, and it was all upgrades and anything. They just asked for more money. That's a completely different story. That's what I was saying in the beginning. But when you go and you start day one DLC like that, and it's a multiplayer game, and you know the majority of people want to play the updated version, you screw out people that are only going to buy the core game because they don't have the money to buy all the rest of it. You know, it's silly practice. But that's my rant for the day. I guess I really wanted to just kind of rant for a little bit, just because I don't know, past couple days have been kind of harsh. So to sit down and talk with you guys, people that are actually listening and watching these videos with me, I really hope that you share the same views, and I hope it was fun. Because I know that this video here, I didn't really have everything fully done yet, so I couldn't show you like the full capabilities of this build yet. It's really close to showing you everything, but not quite there. So I just wanted to show you what I have and how this can work in a Greater Rift for now. But for now, since I only have 200, I'll just go ahead and spend them anyway. Hopefully get some luck here. Nope. Got another Final Witness. I've gotten that friggin' shield like 35 times, I swear. Exaggeration aside, I think I've gotten about 6 or 7 times rolling from her, so. But yeah, I'd like to thank you guys right now for listening to me rant for a while. Talking about all this crap that's coming up nowadays. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully by the next time I'm back on here, I will actually have the shield. Last but not least, Sunday, I might only have 2 episodes. This one uploaded today, of course, and then Saturday, I might skip Sunday just to have a free day off for that day. And then I will see if I can record Witcher 3, but I might not be able to. I might be able to show you some stuff, so we'll see. We will all see as the time comes. But thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.